Okay. Good evening, Crimson Tide Nation, and welcome to the 44th edition of Alabama Crimson Tide Live, all right here on Alabama Boys College Football from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, my partner in crime, Jeffrey Dolly College Sports, as we go over our takes on the Alabama Crimson Tide with all of you as we take your calls, all right here on Alabama with the Boys College Football. And let me tell you something, folks, you're going to be in for a wild ride as always. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Doing great, Jackson. We're getting ever closer to the college football season. It's ticking down. Basically 2 weeks away from the return of college football. That first big game, Kansas State, Iowa State, week 0 in Dublin, Ireland. People are getting hyped. People are getting amped. And for us, for Alabama, we're 3 weeks away. So definitely, you can smell it in the air, man. I cannot wait to get into some Crimson Tide discussion tonight with you guys in the chat. We already have a caller on the line, so can't wait to get into it, but definitely doing great, Jackson. Excited to get into it.
And before we get to our first caller tonight, we've got the YouTube membership of Alabama with the Voice College Football tiers for all of you for $2.99 a month. You can become a Crimson Faithful member where you'll have loyalty badges next to your name in the comments and the live chat. And you'll get custom emojis to use in comments and the live chat. And you get member shout-outs for $2.99 a month. And for $4.99 a month, you can become a Save a Disciple, where you'll have party replies to comments for example, when you're a YouTube member, you get priority replies. And you get access to a monthly hangout from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Jeffrey Dolly Talk Sports, Coach Johnny Burtz, and you got Coach Spook and Manny Wilson. And for $9.99 a month is the big one, the Bear Bryant Legends tier. All right here, where you can connect on social media with each of us and give out content requests of any kind. Neither rain nor sleet nor snow nor this miserable weather, this miserable heat advisory that doesn't even know what day of weather it's supposed to have in Alabama is going to stop us from fulfilling your content request all right here on Alabama with the Voice College Football. All righty, so we got our first caller today. We've got Thunder Redmond on the line.
What's up, y'all?
Oh, it's going pretty good.
How's it going?
Oh man, it's going awesome.
I'm so glad.
So we're gonna go 8 minutes, 30 seconds for each caller, because this way we'll make sure the callers have each time to call, man. So what's on your mind tonight, good buddy?
I'm so glad that it's almost September.
All right. So exciting.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, did you see the preseason rankings in the coaches poll this week?
Yep.
Ooh. Let's go ahead and take a look at that, shall we? I think we saw that from On3. On3 and a few other people. Like I know Michigan is 14th.
Joe Clark, he made his own coach and regular poll. He had y'all at 9 and he had us at 10. But I sent him I sent him that you know how on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram that you can post something and hashtag. I sent a hashtag that saying that we beat Bama the back to back, and why you got the Bama ranked the one spot ahead of Michigan. I'm like that kind of strange because they had a work they season was just as bad as the Michigan Wolverines and they lost, but he probably got his reason why. He did say that they have to make the playoffs. He said that if we don't make it, the problem he knows that our team is going to be built to make the playoffs from Bryce's a freshman. So yes. So he said that the fans they won't be calling for Sharon Moore job, but he said that if Texas, if Bama, it don't make the playoffs to the back-to-back season, it's a problem.
I think looking at Joel Klatt's top 25, he's got Alabama lower than the coaches poll because Alabama's 8th, I believe, in the coaches poll, so they're 9th here. Michigan was lower than 10. They were lower in the coaches poll. And Indiana, I think, is even a couple spots higher. He's got him at 17. I think the coaches poll had him at 19. So, I mean, I think the reason Alabama is ahead of Michigan is because the bowl game, sadly, the result doesn't necessarily matter all that much because of the fact that we know that in this modern
The first
era,
game, he had this rank ahead of them because he won. Well, because he won the Rose Bowl. So this time, yeah, he flipped the script.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand Miami being 12th according to Klatt. I mean, he must be like reliving the early 2000s a little too much, honestly. Like,
you know what? A lot of people, they still think that Oklahoma can find a way to survive a game at home against the Michigan and win, but he got them barely. They barely made his preseason poll, Oklahoma. So that's telling me that they might lose because he barely making it.
Of it, I'll ask. Kaden is in the chat.
And some of their fans, they thinking that saying they hearing that since Texas and Michigan, the way they play on defense is similar. That's telling them that we're just facing another Texas defense with different color, but jersey. But I do know they both use the same scheme, but the difference is the turnover percentage is the Michigan. Like I noticed in easy games they force turnovers of the Michigan and Texas, and also get with easy the opponents most times when they get turnovers, the turnovers had came to them, but because of the quarterback, so they don't really have the fourth turnovers. I noticed in that Texas since Ohio State game, they wasn't really forcing turnovers like that, but they were just letting the turnovers become to them. And I noticed in the Michigan game they played similar to the Texas, but they been some turnovers, but that was they got it because of the quarterback Ohio State had gave them turnovers, and there was some other drives where the defense they almost had forced a turnover. That there was the one play where one of the linebackers he left the field but was so mad because the reason why he left the field a little bit mad because the ball had slipped out of his hand. And when we all know that if it didn't slip out of his hand, that could have been an interception. So they were trying to force turnovers. That's what I saw in Michigan when they're playing the big games. They trying to force turnovers because they know in the big games that for you to get a turnover, the chances your opponent is giving you the football, the chances is lower compared to you playing against a a lemonade, a lemon squeezy or cupcake team. But when you playing a gauntlet team for you to get for you to score a touchdown or score or get a turnover, and you have to force it. That's one thing I feel like the Texas Longhorns they need to fix if they want to win a national title this year, because they got the scheme to do it, but they just need to find a way to increase their turnovers percentage on defense in big games.
There you go. Well, Timothy, we've got less than a minute now. What you got going on your channel before we get to our next caller?
You know the guy named Sam, the college. You know the guy named college football with Sam. We're having a private phone call tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and then we gonna be talking about some. We're gonna be working on a collab, a new we're working on another show. And it's gonna be the third time he going to be on my channel. So we don't know what we're going to be talking about. So we are having a private phone call to go over some options.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I think everybody's.
I finally got over. You can recommend my channel again, because I just got 204 subscribers. So I am over the 200 mark. And my goal was to have 1,000 subscribers before New Year's.
You heard it here, folks. Let's help get Timothy Redmond over to 1,000 subs, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Timothy, we will get to our next caller, and we will see you soon. Goodbye.
Yeah. And Birch, if you are in here, we just wanted to say to the Birch that the Michigan channel. That's your home. I know you got some kind of stallions, but difference is, and then you trying to help the Buckeyes, but just come back home. We do know you like to hang out over over, but here, but if whoever is right, if you're right, Birch, then TJ and Johnny will say that they sorry. They sorry. We should have believed you. If you are wrong, they're gonna tell you. They told you so. But that's all I have to say. If Birch coming in here, it's Kaden. You coming in here. You you talking smack. We'll see you Sunday on Johnny's show. That's all I got to say for Dan.
All right, man. I'll make sure. We'll make sure to pass the message to Bert. So whatever message he's got, we'll pass it along to you, good buddy. All righty, we will
Pass
see you
that
soon.
message. I said to Dan. You talking smack. We see you on Johnny's calling show on Sunday, and we all can discuss about it.
All right, man. We'll make sure to let him know.
What was that show that they wanted me to be on? I think it was, you said a new show. I think it was Lucas. He had a calling show that he offered me to join to see
South
how.
Carolina.
I think it was he had. I think he had his own private show.
Well, we'll definitely make sure to tell everybody tune in what you're doing, and we will definitely be seeing you soon.
Yeah.
See, sir? All righty, we've got our next car. We've got Caden the Diesel Freak on the line. How you doing tonight, man?
Yeah, good evening. And I just had to listen to the Joe Biden of Michigan fans who can't even literally speak an absolute fact about me. First of all, Tim, shut the up. Seriously, you are so full of BS. Oh my God, Tim. I seriously can't understand why you root for such a delusional fan base. Oh my freaking God.
Well, my response to
Jeffrey,
what I was trying to
Jeffrey,
say to Timothy
Jeffrey.
earlier. Can I say this real quick? Can I say this real
Jeffrey,
quick?
hold on. Tim, just give me a piece of
I kind of want
advice.
to finish this statement, man. Can I finish this real quick, please?
Let me finish first, little Jeffrey.
Let
Tim,
Jeffrey speak first, and then we'll let Cade speak. Jeffrey, you go first.
Thank you, Jackson. What I was trying to say is that on that Michigan to back you up, Caden, about the delusional Michigan. The Michigan fans are not all delusional. But what Timothy was saying earlier about how Alabama and Michigan had the exact same season last year, that's just absolute false. Just fake news there. I mean, that's not true at all. Alabama almost made the playoffs, and we choked the game away against Oklahoma. Michigan had a rough, basically entirety of their season until the Indiana game when they got it together. Almost. Okay. And then they went out there and beat y'all for whatever reason again, and then Michigan beat us because we didn't show up in the bowl game. So that they did not have the same type season that we did last year. We had a much better season than they did. So go ahead.
and you just proven my point, Jeffrey. Right out of the gate, you just proven my one point. I'm not going to say, because if I say it, you're going to get embarrassed. And yeah, look at this now. You're hiding. Great. As soon as the storm and the thunder
I'm
hit,
not hiding. I'm literally right here, dude. I'm just not on screen.
because of the thunder and the lightning that comes and strikes when you know it's going to hit you and burn you. And I just pointed this out to some Ohio State fans that our defense this year is what's really going to set the tone in our schedule. And you know what, Texas is going to be a blowout. We're going to hurt Texas. And that's the bottom line fact, because that's all this defense is going to do this year. It's two things: hurt people and win a national championship. I came back after a week listening to Burke smack talking about me for the last 4 weeks. Burke's, why do you gotta be talking about me for the last week and a half, dude? You want to talk like Now,
Kate, now I want to ask you: have you seen the coaches poll for the preseason poll for Ohio State and Alabama and everybody else this week?
how dare they stick OSU at number 3? How dare they? We're the undisputed defending national champions. You're gonna make a big mistake doing that. Joe Klatt is a dummy. Joe Klatt don't know college football like nothing, and don't know a good team like
That
OSU.
was Joe Klatt's poll, but that wasn't.
I said Joe Klatt, Jackson.
I know,
but preseason polls don't matter.
For preseason.
It doesn't matter who they are done by. They don't matter. So ultimately, at the end of the day, LSU sucks. Joel Klatt probably will never mention it again, and that's the end of that. You know, people usually tend to back off their bad, predictions. We all make bad predictions. You know, I've made tons of them. I typically go back on them and say, yeah, that was terrible, but sometimes you forget.
And you know why I'm laughing over here, Jackson and Jeffrey? You know why I'm laughing? Because the room right now is is full of so many of your goons in the building. In the building. Well, you know what? Guess what? I have friends too that listen to the show, yet they ain't commenting. And they know they're watching this show.
I'm
And
sorry, my goons.
well, your little friends group, that all y'all hate my guts. You don't like when I call in smoke, y'all, because you don't want the
We like
smoke.
you, man. That's why.
Dude, I
That's
don't
why.
mind when you call in, man, but you're yawning during my
BS.
talking tonight. It's like, dude, I haven't even talked that much.
BS. And my brothers from another mother are watching this show, who I had the opportunity of playing high school football with. And those dudes did not, and I mean do not F around. And I'm gonna tell you what, the team that we were part of together wasn't Madison Plains. But I'll tell you what, there's one thing that we like to do when we got on that field. And it's one thing that we have in common with OSU. Oh, and
Also,
that's one word, Jeffrey. And I'm thinking, I already know that word, and it's hurt people. Because that's all we did was hurt people.
how
You want to
bad
talk
you
about
hurt them?
Jackson? For an Alabama fan, you had a coach that helped you win multiple games. You ever heard of defense wins championships and defense that wins blowout games?
I have.
That's what we did. Blew people out like nobody else. Our last game was 58-3.
How
And
did
we
you get
ran
pounded?
them out of the building. So I don't want to hear any of my old high school enemies talking all that smack. Because we own their carcasses. We hold them by the tights. And we said, shut up, because we own you by the records.
There we go.
And I had the privilege of being a part of those teams that whoop people's carcasses. And I know the little Notre Dame Irish Will and D's in here who is about to lose a bet this fall to me.
I think he's
And I'm
gonna
gonna
win it.
Jackson, you literally are just dumb Alabama fans. Why do Alabama
I've known
fans
him for
are
3
dumb?
years. I mean, I can tell you right now, he knows his stuff.
And little Timmy, that's our favorite little boy. Oh my gosh, that dude wants to come out in here. Timmy, you ain't on my level, dude. So sit on down because the biggest dog has entered the building.
What is your level, Kate? What is your level?
Jeffrey, I will say it out loud to you so you can hear me crystal clear because I don't think those ears of yours are hearing me clear enough. So I'd clear your ears out and empty your brain out of dog. I am the baddest, hell raising, Mount Dew drinking, truck driving, diesel fuel bleeding, tough SOB who don't give a F about anyone and anybody, who will call anybody out. And I told Pigskin Pete to shut the hell up on his own show. I told Johnny Olden, TJ Rowan, I told John DeMoe to shut the hell up. I am the
Okay.
only man who's done that. The only
Well,
reason I ain't doing it to Jackson Johnson is because Jackson Johnson, I actually have respect for this kid, though he wears the wrong colors and that cowardly school from down south who ain't as elite now as the one school I have a lot more respect for. And you should understand that. But the women want to be with me, but the men want to try to be me. But guess what, Jeffrey? The women can't handle me because I'm a whole nother level. I'm on a whole nother level of alpha male, dude.
Again, I asked, what level are you?
The most. I mean, I just said it out loud. If you didn't hear me, I am the baddest hell raising now, dude. Drinking, truck driving, diesel fueled, tough
You're trying
SOB.
to tell me that you're like level 8 Mario Brothers, world 8. You're like, I mean,
Dude. I am Brock Lesnar alpha male status, dude. Don't you be. People that I know have compared me to Brock Lesnar. The way I just always been.
Dude, I've seen you before. You don't look anything close to Brock Lesnar, dude. And neither did me and Jackson. We're not.
Jeffrey,
we're not in competition.
I'm gonna warn you,
Brock.
Jeffrey. I have a switch that I can flip, and that switch you don't want me to flip, and that switch I have it turned on to number 1, but to number 2 is a whole nother story, son. So don't flip my switch, cause you want to dance with the devil. I can flip that switch real quick, but I'm gonna make you really make your name famous when I whipped your on here and I roasted you.
How am I gonna feel your whip? How am I gonna feel your whip through the computer? I mean, that's what I'm not really.
Okay.
I can verbally destroy you on here, Jeffrey, and you wouldn't even have anything else to say.
The chat agrees with me and Jackson, though. That's kind of the problem.
Well, look, Kaden, we're gonna get to our next
Jackson,
we'll
can you hold on for just a second? I'll say this. I'm gonna let you little punks come on here, say your crap, and y'all can badmouth me. But as I've said before, you can hate my guts, you can hate my soul, you can hate what I do, and I don't care. Oh no. I know y'all hate me, but guess what? The reason the women don't want to be around me is because they can't handle me. Because they know when they step in my presence, it's a whole nother level alpha male and they go wild for the one. But I told them, step aside. I got business to handle, punks to whip. And you know what? I just whooped y'all punks. So you know what, boys? I'm going to tell you what. Screw Alabama because y'all suck. Michigan sucks. Notre Dame sucks.
Can you send us a DM of a picture of you and those women? Like that'd be pretty awesome.
My thing is, Kaden, my thing is that you're saying that the women are intimidated by. I mean, when you say that they can't get near you and all that, right? It's like it makes the chat believe that they're not ever near you at all. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not ever near. So I mean, I'm just saying like you might want to clarify like how are they not able to be near you? I mean, there's no way, because again, I've seen you before. You're not Brock Lesnar. You can't be that intimidating physically.
I said, Jeffrey, I have that switch I can flip.
Maybe it's more so the verbal stuff. You gotta be very gentle and kind sometimes, right? You can't
Jeffrey, here's the difference.
You can't be that brash to certain individuals on planet Earth. You can't do that.
See, here's the thing, Jeffrey. I have the switch. I have that mental switch. I can flip. I can be the regular human being I can be, or I can be the beast of a human being that I can be. And trust me, I've lifted 250-pound men off their feet by my own power. 300 pounds. And Jackson's carcass, I bet to send him flying, and he wouldn't even be to feel his bones.
Probably weighs more than you do.
And I bench, and I used to bench, deadlift, squat, and I can still lift a 200-pound being without no problem. So I don't want to hear you.
Yeah, the chat wants to get to the next calls. So, Kaden,
Jackson, you know what? Hold on. Like I said, I'm gonna leave on my terms, and I'm gonna say, y'all hate my guts, but I don't care. Jackson, Jeffrey, you can say.
Thursday. We'll see you later. There we got Will and D on the line. How you doing tonight, man?
What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, Will. We finally we've got Will and D in the house. I didn't know if it was gonna happen, but We're glad you're here, Will.
Boys, do you want to look at the coaches poll for a little bit?
Absolutely. I've been wanting to talk about that.
I just wonder who's gonna get barbecued. Oh God, now! Oh my God, I'm just like I can't quit thinking about those quotes I heard. Like it's just too funny. Oh my God, let's take a look, shall we? So I know, like, hold on, there we go. USA Today. This is written by Jordan Mendoza. Nah, screw this. I'm gonna go to the On3 one. This little or the ESPN one. Yeah, that'll be a little easier. Going from here we go. Yeah, this should be a little easier.
There we go. Yeah, I was
So,
correct.
guys,
Alabama was at 8 and Indiana at 19. Yeah.
So, guys, last year, only 13 of the 25 that started in the preseason top 25 finished in the top 25. So, which teams do you guys think won't get in, and which ones do you guys think will stay? Like, what
There's
are
a really good chance that Boise is not ranked by the end of the year. No Genty. I mean, you never know. I don't know their schedule, but I mean that's kind of that's kind of a really good possibility. BYU. I mean, obviously with no Jake Retzloff, they probably are not going to be very good. A&M. A&M's possible. Tennessee,
I think's out.
SMU's possible.
Yeah.
Indiana, come on. Indiana, if they go 9-3, they're going to be ranked at the end of the year. But yes, it is possible, Indiana. But I would like to think no on that. But Texas Tech could fall out of the top 25.
Texas Tech is just overrated. They're like
Ole
a poor
Miss?
man's Texas A&M.
Ole Miss might not stay.
Well, even the voice of college football himself, Mark Rogers, has pointed out that like every year, somebody from the top 10 ends up at the end of the season not ranked. Typically,
Last year was Florida State.
UNC that one year, the year they played at Virginia Tech week 1, they were 10th and fell out. LSU or Miami, those two could fall out of the top 25 at the end of the year. They could. I mean, Miami probably will be ranked, but it'll be like fringe at the end of the season, kind of like Jason R says. LSU, I could definitely see them not being ranked by the end of the year.
Oh, they're a disaster.
So, I mean, that LSU, I mean, the one thing I can agree with Kaden, which I was going to talk to him about the coach's top 25, but he, okay. But, LSU should not be at 3 in anybody's ranking at all. Like that Lindy's had LSU at 4, I think. Like, so many people are hyping up LSU. They're not going to win the SEC. They are not going to finish in the top 5. It's not happening. And if it does happen, I will be thoroughly shocked because when has it happened? Since Burrow. Since that Burrow team that was just insanely good. They have been horrible, frankly, since then. And they've had a couple moments, the one win, over Alabama, the 2-point conversion. I mean, they've had a couple decent wins, but mostly they've underperformed massively since the 2019 season. I don't see them finishing in the top 10 at all. If they finish ranked at the end of the year, it will be very low. Florida's possible if Lagway can't stay healthy. If he can't stay healthy, then they won't finish ranked. But if he can stay healthy, then Florida will be ranked. Illinois could fall out. Maybe. Just like Indiana. I think both those teams. The winner of that game, very likely ranked at the end of the year. The loser of that game could, just depending on other results, fall out. K-State is iffy. It's interesting.
Which of the top 10 do you guys think are too low and which are too high? Besides LSU and Miami.
LSU, Miami.
LSU, Miami are too high.
Georgia's a bit high.
Yeah.
I'd have Georgia a little lower. I mean, I understand it's Georgia and all, but they were not impressive last year. And Gunnar Stockton is essentially, Ty Simpson, a complete and utter unknown. They've got talent as always, but it's largely unproven. I think that maybe it's mostly because of their some of their transfers, that they've added, but I don't know. I think 4 is a little too high. I want to say Penn State's too high. I really do. But, I mean, where are you going to put it? Legitimately. I mean, who goes ahead of them? I don't know, man. I mean, you could say Notre Dame, I guess, but the problem is that Penn State's got Aller back and Notre Dame doesn't have their quarterback returning. So Georgia's an unknown at quarterback. Notre Dame's an unknown practically. Even if the quarterbacks ends up being good, they're still an unknown as of now. Clemson has Klubnik, but I think people are still a little hesitant to kind of lift Clemson all the way back up to the top after, some kind of subpar last couple of years of Dabo, even though people think this is the year maybe they get back to the, I wouldn't say the promised land, but, maybe toward elite status of college football. So I would say Penn State, but I really don't know who passes them. So, Oregon, you could say, is too high. I know it's because of the season they had last year, but I mean, people must be really buying Dante Moore. I know they've got a lot of talent still, but yeah, Oregon, I don't think Oregon's finishing 7th.
Oh, God. Penn State's schedule's god awful.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
I hate their
That's
non-
another thing, because then me and you both have them going 11-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll at least be 10-2.
And that would be a disappointment. That would be
I mean, apparently Bama, Dude, and Burks think Notre Dame's too high. So I'll speak on that.
Oh, Alabama's too low. That's the thing, though. It's too low.
I mean, I feel like Notre Dame, they have the best offensive line in college football, the best defensive back room in college football, the best running back room in college football. The linebacker room's going to be good again. Defensive line should be improved. And the wide receivers, I mean, they're getting better as the playoffs went on, and they got Malachi Fields from Virginia, who's going to be the best receiver Notre Dame's had. People are comparing him to Chase Claypool. So hopefully he can be that good. Hopefully better than Chase in the NFL. He kind of flamed out in the NFL, but
we got the voice of college football giving out the comment. We appreciate the comment from the voice of college football saying, he says pollsters shouldn't even look at schedules. If they do, their vote should be taken. That's moronic.
I agree. I mean, because you're influencing, your ranking based off of a schedule. Because that, you don't know how a schedule is going to turn out. All we heard last year was how difficult Florida's schedule was going to be and that Billy Napier was toast. And yet again, Florida's schedule kind of fell apart. It kind of did. I agree with Mark. Absolutely. Like, that's a prediction, not a ranking. You're ranking teams right now. That's why I think that preseason rankings are dumb. And me and Mark we talked about this before, and I've talked about with other people as well, that you really can't rank teams in the preseason because it's all basically a prediction. It's all a guess. Once you have 4 or 5 games under your belt, 3, 4, 5 games, you've got data to go off of. You've got film and games to go off of. That's where you can kind of start ranking the teams, and it makes sense, kind of. That's why when you see these early rankings, like Florida State last year in the top 10, UNC that year they were in the top 10, and they start falling down, guess what? After that point, you readjust, and they fall out of the rankings, and new teams enter. And that's when it becomes a true ranking. These early rankings are not rankings. They should be coaches poll top 25 projection or prediction. That's what it should be called, because truthfully, that's what that is. We don't know if any of these teams that are ranked right here are going to be worthy of that ranking by the end of the year. And half the time, to Will's point, half the teams last year didn't finish ranked that started ranked. So it could be that way again. So
excellent point, because Penn State and Clemson have experienced quarterbacks out of the top 8 teams in the coaches poll. Everybody else has a new quarterback.
I guess that's why people really just want to be so high on LSU. They're kind of lumping Penn State,
LSU?
Clemson, and LSU together because they've got the experienced quarterbacks and no one else does. I think Penn State and Clemson are clearly ahead of LSU, though. Even with Nussmeier, LSU's you got to see it to believe it. Even with their additions, I feel like when you're doing a projection like this, I mean, based off LSU's previous 3 to 4 years, I mean, they don't really deserve to be anywhere sniffing the top 5. Top 10's even a stretch. They might end up being that good, but they got to prove it. That's why I really, in a way, wish we didn't have these preseason polls. I like them because it creates great discussion. It's incredible talking about it, but it's just a guess. I mean, Joel Klatt has Alabama 9, Michigan 10, but then the coaches poll has Alabama 8, Michigan 14. Okay, so who's right? Could be neither.
I don't understand people that say Illinois is the next Indiana, because like teams that are like the next Indiana, I saw that eye roll. That I was laughing about that. Like teams that are the next Indiana are not teams that had a winning record in the previous year. They're teams that had a losing record in the previous year. Like that's just my take. Like teams.
The next Indiana would be a team like Indiana that was 3-9, 4-8, 2-10 the year before, literally turns it completely around and makes the playoff. And so it could preferably would be a team that's never been to the playoffs.
So it could be like half of the Big 12 then.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be as impressive though.
Would it be Purdue?
Because the Big 12, literally anybody can win that thing, right? Yeah, Purdue would be the best example, like if Purdue did it. But I can guarantee you that Purdue is not going to do that. And like Mark said here, exactly, Jackson, if I was 3-9 team is going to make the CFP, and that's the next IU. Absolutely. I was very frustrated about this a while back, talking about this exact discussion. I think I brought it up on one of our shows, Jackson, on the it might have been the college show. I was talking about a while back because we brought it up, and I mean, I was like, that was my exact point. I mean, people just want to use that Indiana label to diminish what Indiana did and be like, oh, it can be easily replicated. Oh yeah, Illinois going from a 10-win team to an 11-win team and making the playoffs, and that's the next Indiana. Yeah, okay. That's just absolutely ridiculous. You got to stoop that low that's the headline you're gonna use. That's insane. Yeah, even if I wasn't an Indiana fan, I would still be mad about that because that's really bad. Like that is like bottom of the barrel journalism, honestly, in my opinion. To use that line and then people just repeat it and regurgitate it everywhere, and then that's what we're going with. I've even had a couple people, for real, no joke, like I've talked to in my day-to-day, and they'll be like, hey, I think we could have another Indiana this year. I think it could be Illinois. And I'm just like, you read the first thing you saw on the freaking internet, and now you're repeating it to me. And it's like, that's what happens. No, you have to look just a tiny bit further and realize that statement is oxymoronic. It is so terrible.
Kaden, can you name 5 of your starters on defense this year?
Oh man, I love that. Will calling out Kaden. Yes. Let's go. I mean, it kind of reminds me. People like to call out people when they're defending something so hard, and then it's like, name me 3 or 4 of certain things or whatever, and then they can't do it. They can't do it. It's so funny. It's so funny. I mean, come on, Kaden. Brock Lesnar.
Oh
man. Will should already win the bet for that. Like he honestly should already just win the bet no matter what happens. He's got to go look it up real quick. Yeah, that's what he's doing right now.
Oh man.
Man.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he's just too funny, man. It's like.
What did you think about Joel Klatt in his top 25? He had Utah at 25.
He really did it. He's not high on the Irish. I remember that.
I was shocked that he had Utah there. I know Whittingham belief, turning it around.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
he's
a
not.
projection.
This guy's. I mean, Dampier. He looks like he looks Riley Leonard-ish. Like he's more of a runner than a thrower. Although Riley Leonard, great first drive for the Colts in preseason, led him to a touchdown. Good job, Riley Leonard, for that. But I mean, I think he only had like a couple of completions.
There you go.
You got Mark saying Will name Ohio State players, Cade name Notre Dame players. I know I have my money on. Absolutely. I'm going Will all the way. All the way. Yeah. That's so funny.
Too bad Ohio State and Notre Dame aren't playing each other more often.
I have a feeling we might end up in every prediction. It's going to be a couple of them have Notre Dame and Ohio State meeting again in the playoffs. Could very well meet again in the playoffs.
I want to see if Fox, NBC, and CBS get the Big Ten's ear about it, because I can't help but feel like that's going to happen. Because I know NBC's most certainly going to be in Notre Dame's ear.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me they're happy with Notre Dame, North Carolina State, or because they may not be saying it.
Oh, Kaden looked him up. He looked him up.
Huh?
There you go.
Caleb Downs is fourth.
I don't think Lorenzo Styles is going to play much. He might. The transfer he went from Notre Dame to Ohio State.
Yeah, mad respect that he didn't just lead off with Caleb Downs, right? I guess
100%.
Trying to make it look legit. Oh boy,
100% Jason R. Because I mean, honestly, it's basically death, taxes, and Alabama LSU at nighttime on 6:30 p.m. on ABC. We know that's gonna happen.
All I know is I'll just never forget. Caden said he's got all the Ohio State connections. Man, he can make an Ohio State Louisville game happen. He's got all the connections, man. He knows he's got Caleb Downs' number. I mean, what does this even mean?
I have no ball. How do I have no balls? I put that bet down. I put my balls on the table.
You've got more kahunas than Caden does by far.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is that you're part of the bet is that he's got to show his face, right? I've seen him once. He showed his face brief on one show. I've seen him one time, and I'm telling you, he is not Brock Lesnar. Okay,
he showed his face on the West Virginia Iowa State pregame show that I appeared with Joey Foster on in October 2024.
It cracks me up. He tells me I got none, right? And it's like, oh, Jeffrey, you're hiding. Like literally, he was hiding the entire time he was on. Didn't show his face. I just hide because it's hot, as he calls it, quote unquote. I'm not actually hiding. I'm just turning my camera off because I can't even listening to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I need a break, man. I'm just like step away. Like, all right. So, it's just no. Like Caden's the one that's hiding. I'm not hiding. I'm just turning my camera off because I mean I can only take so much insanity, you know what I'm saying, before it's just
that's why I'll take one for the team.
Yeah, you crack me up. Like you have just the straightest face, man. You just listen to this insanity and you're just like, and I'm just like I mean it's hard to hold a straight face, man. I mean he knows how to push the buttons. That's the thing. Cade knows how to push buttons. That's why he loves being a disruptor, on the shows. And I think it's great, but again, taking small doses.
There you go. Well, we'll go ahead and bring Richie on, but we'll keep Will off for 3 more minutes, but we're gonna bring Richie on for a little bit.
Hey, Richie.
How y'all doing? What's up, Richie?
Oh, we're doing great, man. Well, gentlemen, got a question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
According to the coaches poll, Alabama's ranked 8th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that too high, too low, or just right?
Can we look at it for 1 second? Just look at it again.
3 words. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. What can I say? I'm a huge Gravity Falls fan. Alrighty, so we've got the top 10 again. We've got the rest of the top 25 from the coaches poll via USA Today. And there is basically 2, 3, 4, 4 SEC teams in the top 10. We basically got 3 Big Ten teams in the top 10.
No surprise.
We'll start with you, Jeffrey. How are you feeling about Alabama being at 8?
Me and Mark absolutely agree here. I 1000% agree. They should be ahead of Oregon without a doubt. That's just a no-brainer. Dante Moore, I'm not a massive believer. I know that's a projection, but I mean, realistically, you're just looking at the grand scheme of things. Oregon, Alabama, what Oregon lost. Bama's bringing a lot back. We've just got a better team, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if Ty Simpson's not the greatest quarterback, we've won in the past with not the best quarterbacks because of great teams. And Georgia's done it too. Honestly, their 2 championships with Kirby Smart, not a fantastic quarterback. Pretty good college quarterback, though, but a great team, got it done. You don't need a great quarterback. So Dante Moore, he's not going to have as much talent around him as Simpson's going to have at Alabama. So Dante Moore's going to have to be really, really good to win at a high level, and I don't know if that's going to quite be the case. So I would have Alabama ahead of Oregon for sure. Then after that, I don't know. Honestly, it's the problem is that you've got all the teams ahead of Alabama that had significantly better seasons than Alabama last year because they all made the playoffs. And I know Oregon did too, but Oregon, I'm kind of projecting it to be worse. But you're talking about like Georgia, the team we beat. They're a possibility, but they're at 4. So it's like, should they move all the way down and Bama should pass them? I don't know. Clemson's people think are going to be a lot better, and I agree with that this year. And Notre Dame, had to Will's point, has a lot of talent still. It's just unproven quarterback. So honestly, I would argue maybe for Bama over Georgia, but again, because of where they ranked them in the coaches poll, I would put Bama at 7, I guess.
Well, Zachary Will just says that Alabama is underrated, but as far as staying focused and motivated, he'd swap Oregon and Alabama. Voice college football, Mark Rogers himself believes that there are 7 teams that can win that natty. Agreed. And he also says, I don't know if Clemson had a better season than Bama. Their best regular season win was Pitt.
Yeah, Alabama had a worse season because they didn't make the playoffs, if you're going off just that fact. But if you're going off of wins, yeah, Alabama beat the holy, whatever, just completely destroyed LSU, beat South Carolina, beat Georgia. Clemson doesn't have that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just the playoff, unfortunately, is just live or die now, where if you make that, you had a better season in basically 99% of American football fans' eyes. It's just the way that it is. Even though I would agree with Mark, it's just saying it, legitimately, like objectively, yes, Clemson better season playoff. But, yeah, I think it's like this. I would agree with you, Mark, but unfortunately the playoff just kind of ruins, the discussion of whether, in most people's eyes, of whether, who had a better season. Because you make the playoffs, they're just going to say you had a better season. But I agree.
Well, we'll go to you next. Is the ranking too high, too low, or just right for the Crimson
Jeffrey
Tide?
stole my idea. I was going to compare Alabama and Georgia, but I mean, I think the ranking, it's fair enough because I think a lot of it's based off of what they did last year. And I feel like the other teams that are ranked ahead of Alabama were more consistent throughout last season.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Clemson, really. I mean, Clemson is different because they're bringing like almost everyone back. But I think they're doing it like based on what the teams did last season and what they're bringing back. And Alabama they had those blips. They had the Oklahoma blip. They had the Vanderbilt blip. And I think that's what they're doing. That's what it's based off of, I think. Whether it's wrong or right, I think that's what the coaches looked like and their SIDs looked at.
Mm.
Richie, we go to you. How do you
I'll
feel
say
about the
that,
rankings?
yeah. So I will go ahead and say this. Couple teams really stand out to me. Georgia's got a question mark at quarterback with Gunnar Stockton. What does he prove? You haven't really had to win off of a quarterback, except for when you had Stafford and Aaron Murray, two of the better ones I've seen in a long time. You just like Jeffrey said, Georgia had the best pieces around Stetson Bennett. He was a talented college quarterback. NFL wise is a bit different. Now you have question marks with Carson Beck going to Miami. Is he still good? Is he going to have a what I call a third time's the charm season where he's on the one last ride? He's with Cristobal and company. Now you get to tell yourself, is this what needs to happen? Because I think Carson Beck can play. I've never said he was terrible, but you've got to buy your teammates off the field, and he couldn't buy his teammates at Georgia off the field. Like AJ McCarron said on the Dynasty podcast, you want to be able to chill with your DBs at lunch or dinner. You want to be able to chill with your receivers, your cornerbacks, your kicker, and your coaches and have that relationship. He had to show himself the door at Georgia because he couldn't get that relationship together. Now, whether he can get it together at Miami is going to be a different story. LSU, I think Garrett Nussmeier is a top quarterback. He may have better numbers than Lenora Sellers. I previewed this on the SEC show we do. Your only biggest problem is Lenoris had less interceptions than you did. Maybe that's what they're going to look at. There was our A&M guy called in, and he said that we're never saying that Garrett can't play. We're never saying that Lenoris can't play. But we look at turnovers. Turnovers sometimes are going to cost you. Some of the Garrett turnovers last year, he had like 13 interceptions to Lenoris's 7. That's not going to buy you really a good look. Now, he's got a good arm, but Brian Kelly is in the hottest of hot seats this year. They're going to buy him out. And that's not to say that I have any disrespect for LSU. But your last 3 head coaches, Coach Saban, Les Miles, and Augeron snuck one in there. You're on your 4th season at LSU. Those fans aren't going to put up another either I didn't make the SEC championship or they're not going to make the playoff nor the national championship. We get it. And in Louisiana, your 2 things are the LSU Tigers and the New Orleans Saints, okay? But more times than none, it's the LSU Tigers. It's a big logo. You just won in baseball. Okay, we get that. You're building a baseball program, but your football program's got to get it together. You know, you lost Will Campbell. How is that going to affect Garrett Nussmeier's ability to step on the field and make plays? You have 2 good guys that I have vouched heavy for on the defensive side with Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks. I think those kids are oodles talented. You have an okay receiving core. Is it going to be like it was with Keyshawn Butte and Malik Neighbors and Jace and Jefferson? Probably not, but you guys are definitely talented. Now, Oregon, Dante Moore to me, I like the kid, but is he going to do what you don't know. I would swap Alabama for that because of who we have, but people always forget we're a big question mark ourselves because they haven't seen Ty Simpson play. But people forget he went to the All-American as a senior and he was a 5-star quarterback. So again, I think that Alabama has a very good shot, but it's the board. And I agree with Will what you said. Those 2 funky losses we took to Vanderbilt. I'm not going to accept the Tennessee one because Tennessee is a toss-up every year. Nico can play. Nico was elite, but he was to me not worth what he wanted because he had to have a second season. If this second season he came and balled out, great. I can sit back and say maybe, but you don't know. And Jeffrey, you were right. That's just a prediction. Mark said the same thing. I agree with both of you guys. That's a huge prediction. Notre Dame, for Will, your take. I like Notre Dame. I think you guys have a great running back in Jeremiah Love, or Love. Pardon me on his first name, but Love. I think he's a very solid running back. The question is, Does your guy that comes in, what is it, Steve somebody?
CJ Carr, because
Okay, you're playing
Steve
Carr.
transferred
Okay.
out. Yeah.
The other guy transferred to Syracuse. Question mark at the quarterback position.
Can I
But
say?
yeah.
So Mike Denbrock, who's the coordinator, I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like he did a great job in 2015 when Malik Zaire went down in that game
Yeah.
against Virginia. I mean, Deshaun Kaiser ended up having a great year that year, and he was a redshirt freshman. And he did the same thing with the Cincinnati quarterback Desmond Ridder in his first season. I mean, it was only the American, but they went 10-2 with the redshirt freshman quarterback. So I have that trust that he can get CJ ready to have a good season. But it might not work out. But like I've seen like from the past that he can get it done with the new quarterback.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you guys have Marcus Freeman, and I have a lot of respect for
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman. So he'll rally the team around, regardless of there's not being Riley Leonard or anything like that. Now, I still believe in Notre Dame. You guys were my team that I said like South Carolina to compare the two. When you lost to Northern Illinois and they lost to us, you guys played some of the best football I've seen. And you got to the national championship for a reason. You had oodles of talent, and there was that, to me, chip on the shoulder, kind of, if that makes sense. Now, okay, Kaden, you're about to get cooked here, buddy. Let's get it. So, if you say you have a very talented team at Ohio State. Not saying your guys are terrible. I've never said Ohio State's not good. You got Ryan Day. I almost said Brian Day. Ryan Day. But the question is this. You have lost to Michigan 4 seasons in a row. To me, everybody, we get it. You won a national championship. We talked about it last night. Would he have been let go if there was no Natty win this past season? We will never know.
14 playoff. They missed the playoffs that way. Yeah, it's quite possible. And that's how fortunate Ryan Day was that a 12-team playoff first year of it bailed him out.
If he would have lost to Tennessee or Oregon, I think he would have been let go. If he would have lost any of those two.
Yeah, so a couple people, both my wager wire bosses, they are Ohio State alum, love them to death. They know their football. Our brother Joseph knows his football. They're all lovers of Ohio State, and they contribute to Ohio State. Queen Doreen, that does the voice of college football for Ohio State, amazing woman. She knows her stuff for Ohio State.
Her and Mark are probably the most reasonable Ohio State fans.
Oh, they are. They are. I love both. And then so is a Garrison. I love listening to Garrison.
Yeah, he seems cool.
Yeah. Now, this is the only knack I have, and I love anybody if they want to chime in. Would you guys agree that there's a big question mark with Matt Patricia over Jim Knowles? And that's the only reason I say that is because if Matt Patricia was supposed to be the best coordinator, I'm not saying he's terrible, but I mean, he doesn't really have a ooey gooey track record. I mean, he was let go from the Lions as the head coach. He basically led the Eagles to a pretty bad season, a D coordinator, which I blame the ownership for whoever made that defensive coordinator change. So I would go ahead and say that I'm not being disrespectful, but there's a big question mark. I still think I'm a firm believer in Julian saying. I love the kid to death. At Carlsbad in California, he showed flashes of being the next best thing. I want that kid to succeed. I love him. Travion St. Clair, pardon if I said your name wrong, St. Clair, but he's a very talented quarterback. I love both of them. Whoever starts, I'm going to have high faith in both of them. I just love what Ohio State does at the quarterback realm every year. But there's major questions because you lose your second receiver. You have the best receiver in Jeremiah Smith. Nobody's taking that away from Ohio State. They're very talented. But you're now you lose Chip Kelly, you're bringing in Brian Hartline. Does that bring anything to the table? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much that's going to affect because as long as you get the quarterbacks ready to roll, I think you're going to be okay. Now, the last one I want to speak on is Michigan and Clemson. I love Bryce Underwood. I think he's very talented. but you're losing a couple key pieces that's really going to question a lot of people. Is it a marked improvement from Davis Warren? Absolutely, if he's the real deal. It's a big thing. Davis's story is very sad. What came out on ESPN before the Ohio State game was absolutely. I was at the gym and I almost wanted to cry. It was a sad story on Davis. Never said he was a bad quarterback. But compared to who you had the year before in J.J. McCarthy or Cade McNamara before he went to Iowa is a kind of a question mark. Let's see if Bryce can get everyone to the promised land. Michigan's no sleeper. Michigan will always be there as long as they can keep the elite talent and Bryce can play. Clemson, I don't know if I'm high on Cade Klubnik. I think he's talented, but you weren't the high. If you were supposed to be, and I know you showed it, but if you were supposed to be the guy, then why weren't you the starter over DJ when he came in? But when he was supposed to be the next big thing to replace Trevor Lawrence. Now, I like DJ. I know his father and Big Dave. I know what he's capable of.
His dad's a character, man.
Oh, I love Big Dave. Big Dave, he's just doing what any dad's going to do, okay? Regardless of whether it shows on the field or not, he's just respecting his son. I would respect anybody's dad to do that, rally around their son. I don't know if I really, like the comments that were made about FSU's coaching staff, I don't know. I have nothing to say about that other than I will just, I met Dave. We interviewed Big Dave. He's a good guy from what I know. So I don't know. But if Cade was supposed to be the guy at Clemson, we'll just have to see. I just think it's very weird that you had to basically compete against teams that were just okay last year. Like Jeffrey, you mentioned it before. The ACC's been down, and you guys have said before. So I always look for three teams in the ACC to be the teams to beat every year: Clemson, Florida State, and Miami. And it did not show last year with Florida State. Their coach is in the hot seat. Big deal. And then real quick, Penn State for me. I love Penn State. I think Aller can play. Okay? He's better than who they've had in the past in Trace McSorley, Sean Clifford, and Hackenberg. Right? The numbers prove it. But James Franklin has made some really funky coaching decisions that really makes me question. Like, you should have beaten Ohio State. Ohio State beat you because you fumbled that game and gave it away. Ohio State basically made the plays down the stretch to get the job done. I will go ahead and say that, Franklin, you're not in the hot seat with me, but if you don't, you got to the game before the national championship. Your quarterback threw a really wild interception, okay? Bad read. Well, I'm not going to really, I know Penn State, and then we'll probably say, oh, Richie, you're delusional because we didn't get the national championship. You're going to love me for saying this. I will give you a pass because I like him. But y'all come up the Boston 21 BC and Boston. Cool. Might have to do it.
Well, I will make sure to book that if that game is still on. I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. I will say that Drew Aller's got talent, and he'll definitely be a hot commodity in the draft. But again, he's got a couple pieces he's got to work on. He's got to work on some reads. He's got to work on releasing the ball a bit quicker to me. And he's got to make sure that he wants it like he says he does. Because my favorite quarterback, I think, what are they, the Big 12, Arizona State? I'm a big fan oh my
Sam
God.
Levitt.
Yeah, Sam Levitt. I love that kid. It's not because he may not be the best quarterback. He lost Cam Scatterbo. That helped them out tremendously last year. But I like Sam Levitt from Michigan State. I thought it was a marked improvement of him transferring to Arizona State. I really do. I think that Sam Levitt's got all the talent to be a good backup quarterback in the NFL. I wouldn't say he's a starter. Lenoris Sellers at South Carolina, I would say stay in college. You have a chance to go to the draft this year and make a name for yourself, but I would highly hope that he stays in college because the NFL is always going to be there. You can prove another season and get another season after this year on tape and help yourself out because Lenoris, he's got the talent. Not with the arm, not that size. The size to me in the build is what reminds me of Steve McNair. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's a couple takes I have. I could also say Georgia Tech's Key is in the hot seat, but it is what it is.
Is he?
But
I don't know.
that's all I had for you guys.
Yeah.
I will say way back with your point about the Ohio State coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about like Alabama, we had with Saban an incredible knack of being able to replace coordinators literally almost every single
Absolutely.
offseason, right? And that is something that is very difficult to do. And Ohio State, we'll see how it goes for them. If this works, their new coordinators hopefully work for them. And if it does, then you start adding Ron Day to that list, and he knows how to replace coordinators. But until you see that, it's going to be interesting because you could see some changes, some struggles with new coordinators. And Alabama, we were so good at that under Saban. And now we don't have that ace in the hole anymore. I mean, almost every single person he hired was great. It was rare that you had a kind of a subpar hire at any position on staff. And if there was, it was immediately they got rid of him. But it was rare. It was so rare, and it basically never happened. So I think that is a major point when it comes to Ohio State's potential successes, like you said, whether those coordinators turn out. Because Alabama, we were just consistently able to do that, and it's really, really hard to do that. You made so many great points. I'm trying to think of some more responses there. I feel like with Levitt, I feel like it's kind of like a Cam Rising deal to a way lesser extent, where the different players, but like Cam Rising, everybody just fell in love with his game because of how hard he played. Everyone knew it's like, all right, this guy's not really NFL material. He's not really, he doesn't project in that space. But it's like he left Texas. He carved out this incredible role fighting for the job at Utah, winning the job, and then 2 just incredible seasons until, unfortunately, that injury. And then he was never the same, sadly. But it's like with Levitt, it's like kind of the same similar vibes. I don't know. I just, to me, I don't think he's massive like NFL potential. I don't. We'll see, what he can do. But I mean, Scatabo was a big part of that success. He was a big part of that. That's why I'm a little worried. Me and Will did do our Big 12 preview, and I think Arizona State's schedule wasn't that bad. So I think we did predict them to do well. But still, it's like they could take a step back. Not that Levitt's a bad QB, but when you're losing Scatabo, it's tough. They did get the Army running back, though. That was big. But still, it's going to be interesting. But, yeah, when you look at Clemson, too, with Klubnik, I think Klubnik, the reason that a lot of people, I guess, are so low on, him specifically is because, to your point, Richie, I think the point that you made that was so great that you basically were implying is that Clemson's, they're not playing that tough of teams. And Klubnik still, I guess, isn't like just balling out there, right? Like he's so good. Like Nussmeier in his defense, he's going up against great teams week in and week out, right? Which I've given Nussmeier a lot of crap, but you give him that defense, and even I guess the Big Ten is harder than it used to be. Travels further. You've added better teams, so I mean Klubnik. ACC is bad. I mean, the only thing, and I've said this before, that the ACC has on the Big 12 is they've got the 3 brand programs. They've got Miami, they've got Florida State, they've got Clemson. I guess you could throw UNC as a big university in there, but football, no. But those are big brands. The Big 12 does not have those brands, but the issue is that the ACC has not had those brand teams performing at a high level. Miami's been inconsistent the last 2 decades, and Florida State's been all over the place, and last year they were terrible. Clemson's been that fort under Dabo, but recently they haven't been as good, so it just drags the entire conference down. Clemson patched the ACC up for so long, being the only team that was great in the 2010s, basically. Like, they were the only great team. After Florida State with Jimbo in 2013, it was Clemson. The second half of the 2010s was all Clemson, and that's it. And they covered up how bad the ACC really was. And even then, I felt like Clemson, had some competition, and with like Pittsburgh, the Narduzzi era,
the Lamar Jackson era Louisville teams,
Louisville as well. So there were teams that were decent back then. Louisville, Lamar, Kenny Pickett, Pitt. They had a couple seasons before that. They were pretty good. Now it's like the ACC is just kind of trash. Like every team is just bad. Miami
can I talk about
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, what the Clemson fans they're excited about. They're excited that they got 2 top receivers that were freshmen last year with the other guy they have, Antonio Williams, who they have. So they're liking that. And then their defense couldn't stop the run last year. That was their biggest issue. And they got at Tom Allen and a bunch of guys and some guys from the portal. They hit the portal harder than they usually did to patch up that defense.
That is why people are higher on Clemson there, because they finally did what they have not done. And I've respected Dabo for not using the portal. I understand why he wasn't using the portal. Like I was like one of his biggest defenders on here, on YouTube, saying like, hey, cut the guy some slack. I agree that eventually he's going to have to use the portal, but I understand why he isn't doing it, and I respect it. I think it is great that he's sticking up for how he believes football should be run by not doing it. But unfortunately, it gets to the point where no matter how much you don't want to change, you eventually have to do it or you're going to get left behind. And he finally did it. And if Clemson has a much better year this year, it's because of that. And it's not even a record. Because to Mark's point earlier, Clemson made the playoffs. Clemson won all these games last year, but were they really anywhere near the playoffs? Like not anywhere near the playoff, but anywhere near a championship team, a championship level team that was worthy of the playoffs? Not necessarily. And this year, maybe they will. And if they are, then it will showcase how important those portal additions were. That he did.
Yeah, I wanted to add this in and say that what was it on Clemson or I had it on my in my head, but I do agree with that. I think that Clemson, here's the thing, okay? So if the ACC is getting, like, you're seeing Southern Methodist, right? Or you're seeing like a California that comes in and sneaks a couple wins in there. Now California wasn't good, but they weren't terrible either.
But all their players got picked up by the portal, so they're going to be terrible again, man.
Yeah.
Like, they got raided.
Will Cox
Mendoza's no longer there. He's with Indiana now? So,
yeah, we got Mendoza now at Indiana. Jaden Ott's gone. He went to Oklahoma, I believe. I mean, that in and of itself, done. Like, you're done because those were their 2 best players by far. Like, their offensive line was trash, literally. Ott's going to explode because he put up good stats with no O-line. Mendoza put up good stats with no O-line. He got sacked 50 times last year. I mean, so Cal is a terrible team with no NIL support when it comes to football. Will Cox has no shot. I mean, a lot of people think he's actually a decent coach, a solid coach, and he probably is, but he's not going to win there. It's the same thing with Stanford. Stanford and Cal are one and the same. They don't care about football. They're never going to.
We'll see. I mean, they got Andrew Luck, so maybe Stanford can get better. We'll see.
Unless they commit to football. If they bring out money like everyone else is, and try, then maybe they can be something in a weak ACC, win 8-9 games. But they're not doing it, and that's the problem.
My point was just like Florida State was not good last year, and now their coach is in the hot seat. But Southern Methodist, the fact that they came out of nowhere after the Brigham Young game, the BYU game, you start to realize who your quarterback is moving forward in Kevin Jennings. The other guy was benched. That, to me, just proves my take on the ACC being down. It's like you let a Rhett Lashley team come in, first year in the ACC, make the playoffs, and the elite programs where their logo means a lot didn't hardly do anything last year. And here's the thing. I don't mean this in a bad way to Miami, but I kind of wonder because Mario's father-in-law is one of the donors or someone to Miami. I kind of wonder when his hand's going to start to cramp up. Like, and that's not being disrespectful. It's just, I think Miami, to me, they're not the U anymore. They're Miami University. Back in the day, they were the U. Now they're just the Hurricanes to me. But Mario's got to figure it out, too. They definitely deserve to be on this list because the quarterback change is definitely like Beck can play. But what kind of Beck are you going to get? Can he rally the guys around?
He's never been that guy. that's what I heard from the Georgia people. He's always about like me, and he never like hung out with the O line and stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
I
see,
wonder
that's
how things are going to be though now that he, is out of the relationship or whatever. Because that, a lot of people thought that was
Yep.
a major part of the problem. It's like you're not going to be spending time with your team all that much. You know what I'm saying? When you're kind of distracted a little bit. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. Tons of people have, relationships like that. That's great. That's awesome. But the problem is that was a media spectacle. It became bigger than the team almost, right? Now that's out of the picture. That's out of the way. So is he going to be more locked into this team at Miami? We don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think Carson Beck's fine. I think he's fine. Honestly, I think the vast majority of Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama quarterbacks throughout the years have been nothing but fine. That's the issue. I think a lot of people just lift these guys up to oblivion because of the fact they play for these teams. I mean, rest in peace, but Dwayne Haskins, was he good? Was he actually good? Not
Well,
really.
the thing what made it easy for him is because that he had the elite receivers, so like they made him look good.
They
Who
made
was
him
his
look good.
receivers? Like
He's
Scary
all-
Terry?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And like I said, rest in peace
Yeah.
to Dwayne Haskins. But I watched the guy at Ohio State. He's not that good. It was just a bunch of dump off passes, literally 2-yard passes, and then they ran for 60 yards. That's it. That's all it was. I'm serious. I never saw the guy complete like at least C.J. Stroud completed passes downfield. C.J. Stroud is good. He can play, right? He is
that
a
kid's
good
talented.
And Fields was really good. That you had that little era with Fields, Stroud, and we had Hurts, Bryce, Tua. That they were good. They were legitimately good. But like before that, for us, it was not good. Like our quarterbacks prior to Jalen Hurts, Tua, Bryce Young, those type of guys were not very good. Blake Sims was not good. Jake Coker was not very good. McCarron and McElroy, all those guys were flawed. McCarron was probably the best, but still, like, not a great quarterback.
Burks, I think it was 2022.
Yeah. So, my point that I'm trying to make here with that statement is that most of the quarterbacks that these programs have not been that good. Ohio State, you go before Fields and Stroud, most of their quarterbacks were not good at all. Cardell Jones was mid. Barrett was mid. Haskins was mid. Most of these guys weren't that good.
Pryor was good.
We talk about Fromm and Eason and Stetson
I was
Bennett.
just getting ready to say that.
It's the same thing. They're all the same. They're all average. They're average. Ty Simpson's average. Beck's pretty average. Stockton's probably going to be average. We'll see with Ohio State because saying high recruit, we'll see. I don't know. But most of these guys just aren't all that. And that's just, I think most people can agree with that. I just think they get lifted up higher because of who they play for and the talent they have around them.
I will say, too, that Coker got away with just who he had around him. Because here's the thing. If Coker was a good quarterback, it wouldn't really have had to matter because he would have more to say. You could say more. I went and saw Blake Sims play live against Mississippi State. It was Blake versus Dak Prescott. And we won, but there was a couple of times where Blake Sims, to me, I could tell that if he wants to make the NFL and he had to, we changed positions, and he even said it on Instagram Live when I met him for the first time. But even still, Blake Sims, you're exactly right. He was just okay. Even Saban had questions of, do I bench this guy? Because you just don't know. Coker just was on the right team at the right time. He was, and you're right, he was average. He was never going to be the best.
I mean, everybody can agree with this comment. I 1,000% agree with
I just
Jason
don't know
R.
if it's possible to have that good of a defense now with like
Jason
NIL
R.
and the portal.
Jason
I agree with that as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Jason R., if you want to call in on Alabama Voice College Football, you are more than
Well,
welcome
you look
to.
at Clemson. It's like Clint Moses said earlier with Clemson. their D lines won them their championships.
Well, they
correct?
also
Like,
had awesome quarterbacks, though.
yes, they did, but I'm saying that their defensive line, to Clint Moses' point, was way better than it was right now. Their defense now is
well, their
not the
edge
same.
rushers are good, but
It's
not the
overall. It's still not
interior
the
is that
same.
good.
And plus, Clemson had these really tall receivers. They were like 6'4", 6'5". You just throw it up to them on the edge. I mean, that's who they had back then. It was incredible, and it worked. And their quarterbacks were very college good, and it turns out in the pros, not that good. They kind
What's
of
that
faded.
guy's name that played at Clemson? Bryce. What's his name? Bryce Brees. Is that his name? His sister was on ESPN, but he lost his sister.
Brian Brees.
Yeah,
Breesy.
Brian Brees. I love that dude. I thought he was a great.
He's still
player
where does he play now?
The Saints.
Saints.
Was he
Yes,
the guy?
Saints.
Wasn't he the guy that got ejected against Ohio State? Was that him? Or no, that was Skalski. My bad. Wrong guy. I remember both those dudes. Sorry. But Skalski was the one that got ejected. I remember. But yeah, Breesy, I remember that story with him. He that sucked. That was sad.
Yeah, I was
But
just gonna say
that,
before Brian Brees, I mean, who was really that dude? I didn't really, or not even now. I don't know anybody that's as elite as Brees. Like he was just all around the talent. They don't really have a good. I mean, their running back's okay, but you're not going to replace Will Shipley. I mean, he was a generational running back that Clemson had.
I mean, Peter Woods and T.J. Parker are pretty good, but
yeah, they're good. I mean, the question is, are they going to be able to live up to putting up the yards to be able to be another Will Shipley? I could say yes, but maybe, and you're right, Will. Maybe that's why people are gushing over Clemson because they return all this talent.
because they got the receivers. They got the receivers back to being what they were, but they don't have the running back. Isn't as good.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can emerge. They can have one emerge.
Well, gentlemen, it's awesome hanging out with you guys as always. Richie, we will be seeing you next week, and we'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye.
I'll see you guys.
Appreciate you guys for coming on. Always love chatting with you guys, man.
Of course, you guys. Yeah,
Always.
absolutely. Always make the week better. Catch you guys later.
Yeah, have a good night,
Rich. And we've got our last caller of the night. We've got Bert's on the line. How you doing tonight?
What's up, my guys? Man, I'm just excited, man, for the season, dude. All this Hammer talk, it's been making me crazy, just excited. Yeah.
It's getting close. I mean, like I said, 2 weeks away, roughly.
I don't know if anybody noticed, but for the past several minutes, I was turning my camera off, trying not to show everybody me laughing at some of the comments.
Oh, that's the thing, Jackson. I have to do that sometimes. You're gonna completely lose it, man. You can only hold a straight face for so long.
Dude, I just can't. Kaden, man, get help, man. I'm trying to be a mentor, but I'm trying to be a mentor, dude. But I've given up, man. He's not changing.
I don't mind when he calls in, and I'll laugh. Me and Jackson laugh at what he said. It brings humor to the show, but it's so frustrating. I was just trying to make a point off of what he said, and then he's doing that yawning stuff. I'm like, come on, man. I'm just trying to respond to what you said.
Dude, you see what he did in the Mark Rogers show on the Big Ten Live? That was the most saddest shit ever, dude. It was just so sad that Mark Rogers literally called him a moron. That's how bad it was. But let's just go switch the topic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I can't talk about it. Dude, the top 25, I will say. So when I got some bad news, but apparently, man, Keelan Russell could be the number one QB in that class because apparently in Michigan camp, Bryce Underwood, man, I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's actually struggling. I don't know if you guys heard about this, dude, but they're talking that Mikey Keene, who we got, is a 5'11", 5'10", transfer from UNLV. He's actually outperforming him in many stuff. So what is your reaction on that? Because Do you feel like Keelan Russell is the better QB prospect than Underwood, or because he won the Elite 11 and stuff, or do you feel like they're the same, or Underwood is better? What's your opinion on
I think
that?
it's both the same, honestly.
It's honestly really tough to gauge because I mean, rankings are based off high school, success and results, and it's like once you're in college, all of that goes away. And then it's the same thing when all of what you racked up in college, all your stats, all your success, the accolades, all that, and then you go to the NFL, and then all that goes away because it's a completely different level. So to Jackson's point, I would say, yeah, that Underwood and Keelan Russell are very, very similar. Like, coming out of high school, both are highly thought of. Underwood's had the edge, for most people, like he's better, but, very, very similar. But once now that they're in college, we'll see who's better. That ultimately is what matters. I know that's, not a great answer because, like you say, you're asking like right now, but right now I'd say probably they're about equal because we don't know who's better until they play, until they both, star in college football. And what if Russell is way better than Bryce Underwood, like he outperforms, or what if Bryce Underwood is way better than Keelan Russell? I mean, Keelan Russell, I thought might win the job back in like February, March, but it looks like it's going to be Ty Simpson. But I mean, the thing is, if Mikey Keene wins the job over Underwood, does that mean Underwood's bad? Because I mean, Nico didn't play immediately. Like they're freshmen, sometimes they need a year to sit, to acclimate to college. It's a completely different game. I mean, they're playing at the highest levels of college football. They're not taking over, Boise State. They're taking over Michigan and Alabama, they're joining those teams in those conferences with those opponents. And those rosters they're going against. It's not that simple. So it's just kind of hard to say that, you're going to come in and have that great success. I mean, you look at quarterbacks in the past, some of the best ones in college, they didn't start immediately. So if Bryce Underwood and Keelan Russell don't start this year, that doesn't mean necessarily that they're bad. Especially, Russell, at least Simpson's got experience. I understand. As Simpson has experience at Alabama, I understand with Michigan, Mikey Keene's never played at that level, and he is short, so it looked bad optically. But if you really look at it at full perspective, I wouldn't say that that's just an indictment against Underwood that he's trash if he doesn't play.
The issue, no, but here's the issue, man, is we are paying this guy $12.5 million.
That's Michigan's problem, though.
Yes,
I mean, but that's not Underwood's fault whether he underperformed. That's Michigan's problem.
That's the reason why I'm a little frustrated. Is we pay so much.
The thing is, you don't pay a freshman or a guy that's not a freshman yet, a guy before he even plays for your team, $12 million. That is my ultimate problem with NIL. Is why are we doing that? Why aren't we paying juniors and seniors that have had years of great success already under their belt that much, and even that's still steep, but you're paying a guy that has never suited up for your program that much. That is what's frustrating. So I get your point. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like that argument right there, because I've heard Michigan fans say that, like, oh my gosh, we're paying him this much, he better be good. It's like, that's your fault though, for paying him this much when he's done nothing to prove it at the college level. That is on Michigan's, like whoever's dishing out the checks, that's on them.
Portnoy.
Yeah, no, and also we paid that Justice Haynes a lot too. And what's crazy is he may not actually, I don't know if you've heard about it, but Jordan Marshall's actually could be RB1. Now he will get playing time out. They're going to be like back and forth, but there's a big debate because it's super close, that race of who's going to be RB1. And yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just that's the reason why I want to know. Like, we pay these guys so much, we expect them to play. And a lot of my fan base, man, they're having such high expectation. He's so overhyped now, Underwood. It's crazy, and I feel it's because not only is the number one recruit, he got paid that much, but also it's like he's just so overhyped to the point where like we're expecting him to get better stats than Trevor Lawrence when Trevor Lawrence had all these good receivers and stuff. Like, I'll let you know right now, dude, he's not going to get stats even close to Lawrence this year.
No.
He won't. No, he won't. Michigan
even
fans
with as much talent as Trevor Lawrence had, he might have not.
Yeah.
But without, there's no way in the world that he could. It's not even feasible. But like I said, I mean that's the issue, that college athletes face these days, is because ultimately, if you're Bryce Underwood, you've got to take that money. He wanted to play for LSU. I mean, I think that in and of itself should make Michigan fans upset more than anything. Is that he didn't even want to play for you guys?
No, he didn't.
He did not, and that
Yeah.
like that is sad.
Yeah.
That he wanted to play for his home state school, but yet Michigan gave him a bigger check, and Michigan can do that. That's, I guess, the rules now. We're allowing that as of now, and that's okay, I guess. But that's sad. You've got a quarterback. Michigan fans don't even care that he didn't want to be there. He wasn't their original choice. They just want him to be good because we're paying him $12 million or whatever. That is just such a bad perspective, in my opinion. And I know a ton of Michigan fans that I like that have that perspective. I just don't agree with them. I mean, again, it's their opinion, but I don't agree with it. That is the wrong perspective. The right perspective is to be like, we made a mistake paying a guy that didn't want to play for us this much money before he even plays. Even if the guy goes out there and is incredible for the next 3 years for Michigan, is it still going to be ended up being worth $12 million? Because for Michigan fans, they're going to expect probably at least a title out of that. And if he doesn't give him that, it's not going to be enough. And then Bryce Underwood, I don't blame him for taking the money. I don't blame him for not going to LSU and going to Michigan to take the money. That's fine because, financially it was the right decision. But now you look at Underwood, now he's got all this added pressure that he wouldn't have had if he probably even went to LSU, which there would be a lot of pressure there. But with Nussmeier, he wouldn't have been starting right away. Now it's like he's got all this pressure to win and win now and be as good as people are expecting him to be because of the amount of money he's making. So really, for mentally on Bryce Underwood, it was the wrong decision to go to Michigan. It was a terrible decision to go to Michigan.
I agree.
But he did the right decision financially, and that ultimately is what most people do in life. And I don't blame people for doing that. We probably would too, but it's just sad that this is the way it has to be.
No, I agree, and that's the issue too. Is we expect Bryce Underwood to perform much better than Keelan Russell, because I'll let you know right now, Keelan Russell was not making. Alabama was not paying Keelan Russell $3 million a year. Let's be real here. Plus, Keelan Russell, I bet you if I were to estimate how much he's making in Alabama, at least $1 million more. He is a top 3 recruit in the nation. But listen, Keelan Russell wanted to go to Alabama. But Underwood, the fact that he was taking some shots at Michigan, and if you see his recruitment, dude, it's one of the biggest drama recruitments, Underwood's recruitment ever of all time. It's just crazy, man. And then the overhype, it's like, bro, if he really, dude, if he fails, man, it's gonna look so bad.
You look at it. NIL has already ruined careers, because Nico, we don't know where his career is going to go from here. Nico could have had great success continuing to be at Tennessee, but money. So he goes to UCLA. That could end up just ruining his career. We'll see. That's to be determined. Jaden Rashada, ultimate, just complete destruction of his entire existence as a football player. The guy doesn't even exist anymore. People don't even remember who he is outside of us in the football space. That guy was hyped to death, $10 million deal, Florida, all that, gone. History. He's done. It's over. Where is he?
He was, ASU, he was actually performing good. I remember his first year, and then he got injured, and then he transferred, and boom. And I heard he transferred to Georgia because Georgia was paying him just to be a backup, a bench. It's crazy.
Oh, it is.
And NIL, it's like the guy might not have ended up being good anyway somehow if things had been normal in college football. But NIL just when there's drama is essentially, I think, the point. When there's drama and there's issues with these type of recruitments with these type of players, it doesn't normally end well for the player because their focus is not on football; it's on that.
Yeah.
Well, Burks, anything else before we get to our next caller, good buddy?
Last thing I just want to say is your guys' final prediction for Alabama, your preseason, it's going to be 10-2. Is that both of your final preseason prediction, or are you guys?
That's mine.
That was
mine.
Because
I said
predicted
it last
10-2.
night. Yeah, I said that last night on CFP Mafia, and I said on live stream with Austin.
I did a show with Will and D on our SEC predictions, and I did ultimately go 10-2. I wanted to go 11-1, but I mean the schedules, enough tricky games, and there's still question marks with our team. I'm like 10-2. You got to go 10-2. 9-3 just feels low, but it could happen. But I went 10-2.
There we go.
Yeah, I have Michigan. I have Michigan at 10-2 as well, just because I'm hearing some good stuff about our defense being like a top 3 defense in the nation and how it has more depth than last year.
You went 8-5 with no QB.
Yeah,
so it's like if you went 8-5 with no QB, even it, Mikey Keene, Underwood being whatever, 10-2 is highly possible because your defense is legit. It's almost like you're not Iowa right now because Iowa's offense was just completely dead. But Michigan's very eerily close to Iowa at this point. Like a few years ago anyway. Like defense is just stacked, loaded, elite. And then offense is really struggling. Like if Michigan can get their offense together this year, if Bryce Underwood turns out, they're making the playoffs.
Yeah,
they just are.
And this Donovan McCulley guy we got in the transfer portal, apparently they gave him the number 1 number, and they think he's like the next Nico Collins, apparently, like Tyrone Moore. So if he's legit, man, that's why I'm betting on that.
I hope he's good for y'all, man. McCulley was so inconsistent in Indiana, man. He would have games where he looked like top 3 receiver in college football, and then other games he didn't have a catch. So I don't know if that was more Indiana.
Oh my God, you should have.
But that one-handed catch he had in that one game for Indiana in the back corner of the end zone, he's got skills. Trust me, he's got skills.
Why the hell did
he's got to be consistent?
Why the hell did he go to transfer portal then? Like, don't you?
I don't know, because Indiana's got the offense, man. That's what's confusing.
Dude. What the hell?
I was confused too, Burks. I was like, I thought he was going to stay with Signetti. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. I guess because of Surratt, and Omar Cooper's really good, but it's like I think McCulley could have beat him. So I'm confused.
They gave him the number 1 number for a reason. That means that he's legit, if that's true. But we'll see.
There we go.
I'm rooting for him though. I hope he does well.
Yeah.
Well, Burks, we will see you soon. You have a good night. Sleep well.
Yeah, you too, my man. Take care. Take care. Take care, my man.
There we go. All righty, and we got our last caller for the night. One of our famous YouTube members of Alabama with the Voice of College Football, Zachary Wilges. Oh, and by the way, here's a benefit to becoming a YouTube member of Alabama with the Voice of College Football. You get longer calls than 8 minutes 30 seconds. So we're going to give you the 11-minute time for that, but we could go a little longer. No worries there, Zach. How you doing tonight, good buddy? Long time no hear.
Yeah, been busy working, helping Coach Smook over on his channel and everything, and trying to keep up with that and get that going and getting us to 5,000 subscribers before kickoff. And trying to just grow our channel and everything, man.
Yeah, man.
It's awesome.
Oh, man, we're getting close to kickoff, man. It's just getting
rapidly
closer.
Approaching.
3 weeks away for the Crimson Tide.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for the season. I believe we'll go 11-1 this year. But I do agree with y'all. We can go 10-2. South Carolina, Auburn are the 2 games that I have that could trip us up, and each for their own reasons, But overall, the game that I think ultimately, I believe the game that we will lose is Auburn, because of the simple fact that we do struggle with with a mobile quarterback, and us going to Auburn and it being at Jordan-Hare, and y'all know how it is at Jordan-Hare.
Last time we had a double-digit win against Auburn was in 2015, and part of that was because Will Muschamp was losing his temper at the referees, and it was 11 months before the founding of TikTok.
Yeah, and literally our last 2 wins over Auburn and Jordan-Hare have been game-winning touchdowns in corner of the end zones to Ja'Cory Brooks and Isaiah Bond. So it's like we legitimately have, especially the one this past time with Bond, the throw from Milroe to Bond. my goodness, 4th and 31, final play of the game, and we win. I mean, yeah, that still is just insane. Like, and Auburn the previous week lost to New Mexico State, but then they should have beat us, but we beat them on a 4th and 31. I mean, that's Auburn for you right there in a nutshell. They show up against us in Georgia on their own turf. That's like their entire existence. Other than that, like, they stink.
Yeah, and I don't. Everybody's high on Georgia this year. I'm not. I think their ceiling is 8-4 this year, and because they just have too many questions on offense, too many questions on defense right now going into the season. Now, could they prove me wrong? Absolutely. You know, anything can happen once the season gets here. But last year, should have lost to Florida. Should have lost to Georgia Tech. If it wasn't for Lagway getting hurt in the Florida game, Florida would have won. If it wasn't for in the Georgia Tech game, if it wasn't for the whole starting secondary getting injured in the fourth quarter and in overtime, Georgia Tech pulls that game off.
And if they had called the targeting that Georgia did on Haynes King and knocked his helmet off and he fumbled.
But they almost lost to Kentucky last year.
And the Kentucky game.
And they were
in the Mississippi State game. They were bad. And the thing is, Zachary, I'm with you 100%. I kept telling people last year they should have been like a 7-8 win team last year. They squeaked by in so many games. They looked bad in so many games last year, way worse than even we did. And yet they made the playoffs. And people were like, oh, well, if they had Carson Beck, they'd have beat Notre Dame. No, they wouldn't. They would not have beat Notre Dame. Georgia was not good last year for their standards. Like, we weren't. But legitimately, they were masquerading last year as a playoff team, as a 10-win team, 11-win team. They were not very good. And only a few Georgia fans even admit that. A few do. But most of them thought that they still were the standard of the SEC because they beat Texas twice. Literally, their season was they beat Texas twice, kind of like we beat Georgia. Other than that, and we did have the South Carolina win and the LSU win, but other than that, Georgia was bad outside of the Texas wins. Every other game they played was pretty bad.
Right. And see, everybody wants to give Texas all this hype and everything, but their defensive production, their defense ain't that good. They just played weak offenses. You know, they didn't play elite offenses. When they played elite offenses or teams that had more talent than them, aka Georgia, they couldn't pull it out, you know, and struggled.
Well, and I will say though, like, as long as Mike Bobo is the offensive coordinator for Georgia, you're never going to see him win a natty.
Nope.
It's just not happening.
I would agree with that absolutely. I mean, their offense was not very dynamic last year. I know, you know, they didn't have Brock Bowers, you know, lost some quality players, but still, like, mid. Absolutely. I mean, their offense looked kind of like Penn State. And we know Penn State doesn't win national championships, even though people are saying so this year, you know, like it could happen. Yeah. Their offense is just unappealing. Georgia was better 3 or 4 years ago on offense.
Right. And, I mean, and even when Stetson Bennett was there, I mean, they wasn't that great. They just had more talented receivers around Stetson Bennett, a better offensive line, and all that, players around him to make him look better than what he was.
Yeah.
Because 2021, Bama was supposed to beat them twice. The only reason, the reason we didn't beat them in the national championship game is because 84% of our offensive production was injured, and we was playing fourth and fifth string wide receivers out there, and they could not catch the ball. Not catch the ball worth crap.
Yeah, and I mean, like, everybody still talks about the Ohio State Marvin Harrison, you know, getting knocked out of the game against Georgia there, you know, in that year. So it's like Kirby, he's got 2 championships, but it's like, man, I mean, they are compromised. like they are compromised championships. I know that is it feels wrong to say it because people could throw out some of our championships. Say, oh, well, the other team this, the other team that. That's fair. But it's just with Georgia, it's like you've got these like legitimate, just glaring things about their natties. It's like, all right, I mean, there's nothing we could do about our injuries. Nothing you could do. I mean, it's all hindsight 2020, but absolutely. I mean, we were just completely injured. I mean, at wide receiver, and we weren't going to win that game.
No,
we just were not going to win. It was not going to happen. And yeah, I mean, like I said, Ohio State would have beaten Georgia that year in the playoffs if Marvin Harrison didn't get knocked out of the game. It was basically a done deal. Ohio State was in complete control, and then he gets hurt, and then whatever, no targeting either, which that's a whole other thing. But I don't know, and like I don't usually defend Ohio State ever at all, but in that particular game, they did deserve defense. But yeah, like Georgia, to me, like overall, I mean, they have never been able to basically prove they've been better than Alabama. And I know that now maybe they'll beat us this year. We'll see. Maybe they won't. But Saban dominated them. They just did. He just did. And Georgia's out of like the last 10, 12 times they've played us, they've won twice. I mean, it's not good. I mean, their track record of the supposedly like elite program here, it's not really there. It's not.
Right. And I mean, we was the team that all their winning streaks, we are the team to beat them and destroy all their winning streaks. So let's go out there and do it again this year and destroy their home winning streak, right?
I'm hoping so.
Let's go. Like Georgia has not beaten us quite a lot, with the exception of the Natty in the 2021 season. Other than that, that's it for them.
No, I mean, and like I said, compromise for sure. So
first year, and that even went to overtime with Matthew Stafford team, and Matthew Stafford. I mean, yeah, he's had a decent career in the NFL, but I mean, I don't know. But anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah, Stafford's got the one Super Bowl. They did the trade and it worked out right at first and never again.
Oh my God. Do you guys remember a minute before that game-winning touchdown Stafford threw in 07? We heard like Mike Patrick and Todd Blackledge talking about Britney Spears' life going downhill at that time. Like,
yeah, that shows you that it was 2007. I mean, that's like the end of Federline, right? Yeah. So
I know. So that would be funny, man. Like if Georgia does try that blackout for that stuff, like that would be funny, particularly against Bama. Like, my God, that was amazing right there.
Yeah.
Commentators deviating from the game to talk about some pop culture reference. I don't know, man. That is great.
But yeah, we made it to where they didn't want to have another blackout game, especially against us after the 31-0 at halftime on their home field. And that was an awesome game.
Yeah, Jason R saying he hopes Georgia does it again with the blackout. It's like, all right, bring it on.
Let's do it. Oh man. Zachary, anything else you got for us tonight, good buddy?
No, I'm gonna hop off over here. I'm gonna let y'all go and get.
All right, man.
All right, I'll holler at y'all later.
We appreciate it, Zachary. Man. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for calling in, and you're always welcome to call in right here on Alabama with the Voice College Football Show on the call-in show Thursday nights.
All right.
See you soon. Well, I guess that about wraps up for the call-in show tonight, good buddy. Jeffrey, what have you got going on this week, man?
Oh, definitely going to be posting some more videos and shorts on my YouTube channel, Only Talk Sports. Definitely appreciate it if you guys are able to go check that out. And I'm not for sure, but I might be doing a stream on Monday for the AP poll reaction. That's going to be interesting. And we've had a lot of discussion about the coaches poll tonight because of how it's a ranking, but it's more of a projection, more of a prediction. So there'll be a lot of discussion on that. I don't know if I'll open the phone lines or not. So definitely, we'll see. I'm not 100% sure. I'm about like 75-80% sure I'll do a stream for that. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Definitely would hope to see you guys there, and also follow me on X. X, a lot of crazy stuff going on over there, but definitely appreciate if you give me a follow to try to sift through the weeds of what's going on in the sports world over there. And as always, please, if you're enjoying the show, subscribe down below to Alabama, the voice of college football. We're getting so close to 3,000 subscribers. With your support, we can definitely get there, maybe even by the season beginning. But we'll definitely, hopefully be there by the season's end. 3,000, get 4,000, 5,000 beyond. We appreciate all the support, and I always love us having you guys in the chat and you guys calling in. It's always a great time.
You guys made the show.
Appreciate the shout out from Will, Burks, Jason R, and everybody who called in. Everybody, so.
Absolutely. Tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Publish about the magic that Jeffrey is bringing. All right here on Alabama, the voice of college football, and on Only Talk Sports, where he talks sports every single day, or at least he tries to. And, of course, you can check me out on Jackson Johnson 979 on my personal channel, where I'm 322 subs away from that magic number 1,000. And you can check out what I've been doing on CFB Express last night, where I was a guest talking about the Crimson Tide with Miami Floyd, General, and Rock and Rant, discussing my take on the Crimson Tide. And I also joined Jason Watkins to join Daniel Gygatz and Nathan Balmer Brown on CFB Mafia as we talk a lot about the 2025 SEC preview. And for more updates on what we've got going on Alabama, the voice of college football, or the once-a-week calls on the Paul Feinbaum Show, where the weekends are full of surprises, and my latest episodes of the Jackson, check me out on Jackson VOCFB, on @/Twitter, and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson543908. And you can catch Crimson Tide live and Alabama Primetime Live and the Alabama College Show on your favorite audio platform on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. Please leave a rating and review. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama, the voice of college football, so you never miss another video or another episode whatsoever. And we will see you soon. And roll
Tide.